Plenty of chairs here. Good morning. Morning. My name is Michael Ford. I'm the CEO of the Ann Arbor Transportation Authority, better known as TheRide, and I'm very pleased to be here today. This is a very exciting day for us here in the launch of airport service starting on Monday. There's a lot going on, and before I introduce our Master of Ceremonies here and our board chair, I just want to acknowledge AATA staff. I would just ask you to stand up because we couldn't do all what we do without you. So if you could just stand up and be acknowledged. Really appreciate everything that you do every single day. So, obviously we've got a lot to cover here. I'd like to introduce to you the Master of Ceremonies and our AATA Board Chair, Jesse Bernstein.
Thank you, Michael. You beat me to it because I was going to start by appreciating the staff. I've been on the board about 4 years, and I've been on a number of boards, run a number of companies, but I seldom have seen a group of dedicated people and competent people like we have at AATA. So thank you all for all you do, and knowing it's not a 9-to-5 job. So we really appreciate it. I'd like to welcome some of our special guests, not that everybody isn't special, but we have some folks who have given of themselves to run for office and have been elected. So I'm going to try and cover everybody who's here. Jeff Irwin, representative. Felicia Braybeck is back there with her daughter. Hi, honey. How are you? Barbara Bergman is here. There's Barbara. And Rick Olson is here. Rick has been championing transportation this session at the House unbelievably, and he has worked tirelessly to try and get things squared away. So thank you, Rick, and thanks for coming today. Did I miss any other elected official? If not, thank you. We will move on. So, as Michael said, this is a very momentous day. What I think is really important about today is it's a model and a demonstration of a public-private partnership. It is not just AATA, it is not just Indian Trails, it is not just the Visitors and Convention Bureau, it's not just DDA, it's all of us working together, and with the University of Michigan. I think I got everybody. But it's been an amazing experience watching these groups figure out how we can support each other and how we can come up with a model of service delivery that cuts across government, the private sector, and higher education. What I'd like to do now is just get started introducing our speakers. Our first speaker is a colleague of mine on the AATA board. He has been a champion of public service to the airport for as long as he's been on the board and probably prior. So let me introduce David Nacht.
Thank you, Jesse. I was asked to serve on the board of AATA almost a decade ago by Mayor Hieftje, and have been on the board for that time. And what I've learned is that it takes a whole lot of people to persuade folks to use public funds to try to get something done. I've learned a lot from a lot of the people in this room. I remember specifically being inspired about transportation issues, including airport connectedness, by Terry and Jeff, both of whom have been tireless supporters of countywide transit in this community. Congressman John Dingell has been spectacular as a congressman representing southeastern Michigan for decades. And what his example shows is that even in a very cynical age, when people are saying that the public sector cannot accomplish things, the public sector can accomplish things and does accomplish things. And what we have tried to do at AATA is to show that we can accomplish things. And we can do it in new and flexible and creative ways. We can listen to our critics and be responsive. And we can offer services that are affordable, that meet the needs of the public. The new AirRide service is going to operate between Ann Arbor and the Detroit Metro Airport. There are bus stops at 3 major Ann Arbor locations and both DTW terminals. 2 locations will operate 12 stops daily. This is a big deal, right? You're not going to wait 2 or 3 hours to catch a bus. You need regular service. You need to know that you can rely on that. We're offering that. The Blake Transit Center, right in downtown Ann Arbor, and this place, the Kensington Court Hotel. This is a living example of the public-private partnership. The fact that we're here and the bus is going to stop here. The 3rd location is at U of M Central Campus Transit Center. That transit center itself is an example of another cooperation between U of M and AATA. That's going to pick up passengers 4 times a day. We're going to have special parking discounts for AirRide passengers. They're going to be available here at this hotel and at the 4th and William parking structure for $2. At Detroit Metro Airport, AirRide serves riders at both McNamara and North terminals. Because this is a partnership with Michigan Flyer, which is a private company, we're able to keep fares affordable and reduce costs. An AirRide ticket from Ann Arbor to DTW or DTW back to Ann Arbor will cost $12 one way with advanced reservations. We will be accepting walk-on passengers for $15 one way. As a special introduction to the service, advanced reservations will be just $10 one way through July 30th. Families should pay careful attention to our deals for families. With 12 daily round trips, multiple locations, and affordable fares, we are certain AirRide will be a reliable and convenient way to travel between Ann Arbor and Detroit Metro Airport. Passengers using the AirRide service will not only be able to get between Ann Arbor to the airport, they will also be able to reach beyond the airport by connecting to Detroit's smart public transportation system, which shares bus stop locations with AirRide at DTW. Let me close by thanking the leadership of both Jesse Bernstein, who has been a spectacular board chair, and Michael Ford, the CEO of this agency. And without the tireless work by either of them, by both of them, this would not have happened. So, thank you.
Thank you. Was it 5 or 6 years ago that Gordon Mackay and Odie Norkin came to visit me when I was president of the chamber and said they had this great idea to run buses from Lansing to Jackson to Ann Arbor to the airport, and I just said, let's do it. So we got going, and as I saw them today, I said to Gordon, did you ever think we'd have this event this day? Before I introduce Gordon, I want to underscore for you the actual bus. And you're going to see it. There's one going to be outside. This is a spectacular vehicle. And it's evidence of what you can do leveraging public and private sector resources. It's got Wi-Fi. The seat's more comfortable in 3 of the 4 chairs in my living room. It's got a restroom. You'll see it's got plugs to charge your computer. it's just a whole different experience, and I want to thank Gordon and his staff for making that investment. Gordon, please come up and say hi.
Well, I was told to keep it brief, so Jesse just took everything that I was going to say. I'd like to explain a little bit about Indian Trails, because I'm sure there's a lot of people here that aren't familiar with us. Indian Trails is a third-generation family-owned company. We've been doing business in this state since 1910. We're probably one of the oldest motor coach companies, not only in Michigan, but in the United States. And we started our company in Owasso, and as things spin around and turn around, they come around. We transported people from the train depot in Durant to the hotels in Owasso. As a matter of fact, our head office right now is in a building that was one of those hotels, built in 1892. We don't need fancy offices. What we need is equipment that Jesse was describing, and you'll see outside. Indian Trails has been an innovator in the industry. I remember back in the 80s, I was pushing the manufacturers of motor coaches to provide some of the amenities that you currently see on a coach today. A sound system that doesn't give feedback. It's a state-of-the-art sound system. Carpeting on the sidewalls, comfortable seats. We were the first company to install video monitors. So students on long trips, on charters, could watch movies and calm the aggravation, I guess, let's put it safe, to the driver and to the escorts. So many of the things that you see on modern motor coach today, Indian Trails were proudly pioneered those things. We were the first to install these kind of amenities that you'll see. Well, it didn't take long, of course, before the industry grabbed those ideas and took off with them, and that's great, because that speaks well for all of us. There's a few, I guess there's some facts here that I don't want to overlook. Going back to 1910, the business was founded by my wife's great aunt and uncle. And Cora and Wayne Taylor started the business back then. We grew from the transporting of passengers from the rail depot to Owasso, like I said. But as the automobile industry began to take over, we were carrying workers from Shiawassee County to Flint to work in the automobile plants. And if you go to our website, you'll see a quick pictorial video that kind of describes in a pictorial way the history of our company. It only lasts, I think, 2.5 minutes or so. But it's a flash of a lot of slides that I think you'll find interesting. There's more things here, but I'm going to try to cut it off a little bit. Indian Trails operates scheduled service throughout the state. And when deregulation hit our industry in the early 80s, most of the regular scheduled routes in the state were abandoned. But working with the Michigan Department of Transportation at that time, we've been able to work in another partnership with the public-private to restore service to many of the small rural areas in the northern lower and upper peninsula. So we've been doing this public partnership for a little bit longer. My main motivation in starting the Michigan Flyer, and Odie Norkin is here, he and I both came up with the idea. I've been in this business 40 years, and I've heard every single president since Richard Nixon, and some of you in this room probably don't remember who Richard Nixon was, but a lot of you do. Every single one of them addresses the energy issue. Every single president addresses that in their inaugural address, and we've heard politicians talk about it all along. Well, like it or not, I guess we're in the motor coach business, and we thought we could do something about that. And when our market research indicated there was 800 to 1,000 people from the Lansing Tri-County area driving to Metro Airport every single day, think about that for a minute. Every single day. Now, they're either driving themselves and parking their car, or they're having a friend or relative drive them down, drop them off, go home. When they come back, they drive down, pick them up, pick them up, and drive them home again. That's about 200 miles round trip for one passenger to take an airline trip. This model that we adopted is not new. It's being done in other parts of the country, and we adopted that same business model and started our Michigan Flyer service. But frequency is the key, and that's why this partnership with Ann Arbor Transit is critical. especially with folks in this area, are as close to the airport as they are. So the frequency is the key, and people have to kind of wrap their arms around being a little bit patient, because we're not going to run every 10 minutes, but we're going to run as frequently as it can. And the goal, of course, is as ridership increases, to increase the frequency even more. So I'm tickled to death to be here and real excited about it. The whole environmental thing is the reason why we got started in this. I applaud Kirk, Steudle and Michigan Department of Transportation. They get the energy issue. The Chamber of Commerce here in town, they get the energy issue. The Visitors and Convention Bureau and University of Michigan, they understand the energy issue. And Ann Arbor has been a leader in wrapping their arms around the environmental serious problems that we have facing our country. So this is one of those solutions, and I applaud you all for recognizing that and doing something about it. Thank you.
I've worked with many business people, and the folks that I like the best are the ones that are passionate about what they're doing. And when you have a business that's been in a family for 102 years, that says something about passion and commitment. So thank you, Gordon. When I met our next speaker, I was finding out what he's going to do for me and AATA and the community. And I said, what can I do for you? And his answer was, be my friend. And I was struck by that, because it wasn't, I'm going to put you on my mailing list so you can make donations. It was more of a personal contact and a commitment. And when we talk about 102 years of a business, we have a franchise of a family, not just one person, but a father and son, who have made a commitment and a dedication and have the passion to serve the public in government. And I am honored to present the Dean of the House, Congressman John Dingell.
Thank you, my friend Jesse, and I will tell you, you have been my friend, and I am very grateful. Thank you. And you're a friend worthy of having. I'll say it, I'm sure all of you here know and understand and agree. First of all, distinguished guests, and those of you who have made this day possible, from our two state legislators to you, Jesse, and to all the other, and to you, Gordon, and the folks at the bus company, we say thank you and we're proud. There used to be a guy by the name of Hieftje. Some of you may remember way back. He used to say, there's good news tonight. Well, there's good news today. One of the nice things about coming over here to Ann Arbor for me and for the lovely Deborah, my wife, is that you do things over here. You make them happen. And this is just one example of how this community works together. Pat yourself on the back. Congratulations. Be proud. What you have done is to meet a great need in the community, and that's wonderful. And you've done it in a public-private consortium. And I am certainly proud of that and pleased to come over here and just say, well done. I wish, perhaps, as I came back from Washington, I could come and tell you that the Congress was doing as well. Because, unhappily, one of the great needs of this country is mass transit, to help our people get around, and to see to it that we can band together to do so in environmentally sound and in ways that will help us to do so in an environmentally good but economically sound way. You've done it here again. And it's been a privilege to work with all of you, with the distinguished mayor and with the county officers, and all of your other people, to try and bring these dreams to reality. A lot of people don't realize how important Ann Arbor is, but it's one of the great job engines for our people here in the state of Michigan. But we all have to pull together to see to it that that engine that produces jobs, that trains people, that spins off opportunity and chances and abilities for this community and for this state to produce jobs and wealth is able to work at its best. And getting to the airport, as I can tell you, and as I'm sure you all know, is one very important way. And eliminating these things may seem small, but it is not. It is very big, because not only is it going to be a success, but it is going to grow. And I think we all know that here, because we know how well you all pull together. There's a saying in the Bible, without vision, the people perish. One of the good things about Ann Arbor and Washington, and people here in this room, and lots of others like you, is the vision is here. So congratulations for what you have done. Congratulations for what it means to Michigan. Congratulations for what you are doing to make this a major contributing factor. I'm talking about Ann Arbor and the area here, and all the people, to economic growth and to prosperity for our people. Bessie, I'm proud of what you all have done. I am pleased to be able to serve you, and I want you to know how easy you make my job by the wonderful way in which you pull together. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Congressman. I was on a committee after the governor got elected and before he took office. There were a number of groups that got together to talk about policy direction. And at one of the meetings, there was a guy who couldn't get there because he was in Detroit doing other things. And we put him on the phone, and I had no idea who he was. But as I heard him talk, I realized this guy knows what he's talking about. And I found out it was our next speaker, Kirk Steudle, who's head of the Department of Transportation, and will say a few words. Kirk?
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for those kind words. When you were leading up to that, I'm thinking, oh, what did I say? Congratulations to AATA and to Indian Trails, Michigan Flyer. This is a tremendous, tremendous partnership. There's just some tremendous things that are happening in both organizations, and I could probably spend way too much time talking about the great stuff that Michael and Jesse, you guys are doing, and the great stuff that Gordy's doing to help move people around the state. Last fall, Governor Snyder delivered a special message on infrastructure. He laid out a vision for a modern and improved transportation system across the state, and that included a very significant improvement to a transit network that meets the needs of the 21st century to move people around in southeast Michigan. He called for the creation of a regional transit authority in southeast Michigan to help bridge the connections between the existing transportation authorities in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and Washtenaw counties. I remember meeting with Michael early on in that discussion, and we said we need to build on all the great things that Ann Arbor is doing. We need to make sure that service goes up, doesn't change, doesn't go down. But as the governor rolled out his vision for 110-mile of bus rapid transit service in southeast Michigan, it links all four regions, all four counties together. And it was very important in those discussions that Washtenaw County be included in this whole regional network. Because frankly, without it, we're going to have one really good system that works over here, and then there's a county line that somebody arbitrarily 100 years ago put in place, and then another really good system over here, and you can't go from one to the other. So the Regional Transit Authority, or called the RTA, will coordinate that transit service within southeast Michigan. And frankly, that's the backbone of how people can move in a modern transit system. Now, that regional system needs to be coordinated, needs to be reliable, and it needs to be unimpeded by city or suburban borders. Now, today we're celebrating this new service to improve the regional connections from Ann Arbor to Detroit, and to Detroit Metro Airport. And frankly, this accomplishment is a beautiful connection to a regional transit authority. It's going to be a tremendous opportunity. The only downside that I see is that it starts on Monday, and I'm going to the airport tomorrow. I don't live that far north of Ann Arbor, and frankly, it is a viable option for me instead of paying $20 a day for a parking spot at the Metro Airport. I may see you on your bus.
We've still got 8 trips going now.
That's right. So congratulations to the Michigan Flyer. Congratulations to Ann Arbor Transit Authority for providing that convenient and affordable service for all people to be able to move around the state. You're a tremendous asset to the taxpayers. Through this public-private partnership, we're going to be able to provide a service to this area of the state that will be a model that I think, frankly, we should be able to replicate elsewhere. And I know Gordy and I have had lots and lots of conversations about how do we move people most efficiently in the state. We don't always agree, but we have lots of conversations. We keep talking about it, and we're going to find a way to continue with that vision. So I applaud Jesse, you and Michael and Gordy for your leadership in bringing this together. Thank you all very much for being here, and thanks for inviting me.
Kirk mentioned vision, and I'm going to take 30 seconds to just talk about that. About 2 years ago, give or take, we started talking in the board about where are we going, and we had no idea. And we said we got to figure out where we want to be in 20, 30 years. And we embarked on what we fondly refer to as the Transit Master Plan. We brought in international experts to help guide us. Sometimes in Ann Arbor we think we really know everything. We don't. And we haven't experienced a lot of things out there in the big wide world, such as bus rapid transit. And so we got expertise, we got information, but the most important thing we did was reached out to this community. Michael, I went to some of these meetings, but we visited with all the local elected officials and staff, and then we started having meetings with citizens, and those meetings are going to continue as we figure out how to implement the 30-year vision that we put in place. It's a nice segue, talking about vision, to introduce our next speaker. He is the man that for 12 years, give or take, 12 or 14? 12, okay. Soon to be 14. But 12 years has been appointing the members of the AATA board and has given this board the folks like David, I see some of the other people here, Roger Curson and Charles Griffith. These are the people that do the hard work to figure out where we're going and how we're going to get there, and provide the guidance to the staff so that they can do all the fine work they do. And John Hieftje has been very dedicated and committed to AATA, to transit in general, and to the broader community as well. So I introduce to you our mayor, John Hieftje.
Well, thank you, Jesse. It's an honor to be here, and I want to thank all of our special speakers who are here with us today for coming to Ann Arbor if they weren't already here, and some of them were, and all of you for joining us. There's a lot's been said about this, and not a whole lot was left for me to say, and that's a good thing. I don't think anyone ever suffered for someone like myself having a short speech. But I did want to say that it's apparent, I think, to everybody right now that we are coming into a new age. And we've been doing it for the last 10, 20 years. I look at it as Americans coming to grip the reality that we're going to have to treat energy in the same way the Europeans have been doing for decades. That we're going to be paying similar prices at the pump. Another reality is that our population is changing. When you look at young people today, I remember when I was 15, the biggest thing in my life was turning 16 so I could get an automobile. And I was so excited, and all my friends were so excited. Young people today don't think that way. I teach at the Ford School of Public Policy, obviously not 16-year-olds, graduate students. But when you ask them how many of them want to have a car in their life that lies before them, a few hands go up. They have a different vision of how their lives are going to unfold, how they're going to get around this country. They want transit. They want to live in a place that is vibrant and active, that has connections to everywhere else. At the same time as we look at the future we see, the future with carbon challenges, we see the future with energy challenges, and the business community in this area gets it too. Chamber of Commerce gets it. They understand that if they're going to get their people to work, if they're going to move their people around, they need another way to do it. They need an affordable way to do it. We've needed an airport connection for a very, very long time in this community. It plays into the other vision we have, that a person can live in our city and not own an automobile. That a family, perhaps, maybe only needs one instead of 2 or 3. It plays right into that vision to allow people to come to Ann Arbor, to thrive in Ann Arbor, and not be wedded to an old style of life, to an automobile that may cost them $500 a month when they could be spending that money on their kids' education, on medicine, on food, on everything else they need in these tough times. So I cannot applaud enough the efforts that have gone into making this happen and to moving us forward. And this is another big step on that path to getting us to where we need to be, where we can be a community. And we're already getting there. You know, our community has one of the highest ratings for the number of people that walk, bike, and use public transportation to get to their destination, one of the highest ratings you'll find in this country. This is another big step in that direction, and I just want to thank everybody on the board and at AATA, and again, all the speakers and all of you for being here today.
Thank you, John. It strikes me there's a group of people we haven't mentioned yet, and I think they deserve some recognition. And that's the people who come to visit us. People who come from literally all over the world and get off a plane at Detroit Metro and say, how do I get to Ann Arbor? And now they'll be able to get on a bus like they can in every large city in the world and get here for a reasonable price. They also have other options they can choose, but now they have this choice as well. And I think we all think about getting from Ann Arbor to the airport, but I want to remember those people who are getting from the airport to Ann Arbor and back again. I want to close by talking about the Regional Transportation Authority that the governor proposed and the 4-county cooperative venture. The board of AATA totally and completely supports that effort as long as there's new money. We've made that position. Our legislators have made that position. I believe Kirk and the governor understand that. But we believe we must be connected. And we've even raised the issue of why just 4 counties. We know Livingston is important to us as in Monroe, and I think the RTA as outlined is just the beginning. So we're positioned with a vision for the county, now talking about a vision for the region, and as the mayor said, this is just one step in all those directions. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank our friends at Kensington. I walked in the door and said, where are the cookies? And Dawn said, oh, we don't have cookies. I said, yes, you do. Albert and his staff always make sure you get more than you ask for. So don't eat all the cookies till I can get there. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you on the bus.
Okay.